towards the triumph of a valiant country, it takes a valiant commander. Towards the freedom of an oppressed nation, it takes a decisive outset, commandeered by a gallant leader. That leader rises to the occasion, when he is needed the most. That commander takes up arms, and fights it out, when his countrymen earnestly await his revolt. A charismatic young man's journey from being Major Zia, to being Shaheed President Ziaur Rahman, encompasses the journey of us, all the Bangladeshis spread across the world. It is the journey from our great liberation war through the declaration of independence against all odds, to the global recognition of our sovereignty and the formation of our Bangladeshi nationalism. It is the journey from our intimidated stance against the West Pakistani oppression, as a handicapped community, to our turning into an economic tiger, social role model, and regional power out of an international basket case. And hence, it is no surprise why Shaheed Zia, more than just 2 words, is the symbol of patriotism that amounts to sovereignty, statesmanship that amounts to prosperity, and inclusiveness that amounts to national unity. Today, the world enthrallingly looks back at the rich history of Bangladesh, and appreciates the significance of its milestone achievements, as no other country had dedicated lives for a language. Not many endured such repression before independence, and very few sacrificed so much in its liberation war.
March 1971. The only call the nation awaited was an articulate declaration of independence to counteract the oppression of the then West Pakistan regime. On 25th of March 1971, when the political leaders, entitled to make the decisive call and guide us accordingly, were occupying sham political talks and public eyewash, the Pakistani regime planned and staged one of the most atrocious and outrageous crackdowns of the human history on the people of the then East Pakistan. While the Bengali political leadership remained safe and secure, the freedom-loving common people were massacred by the Pakistani troops just within few hours, on the streets, at their workplaces, at their homes, in their bedrooms, and wherever they were found. An eerie numbness caught the whole nation, shocked by the extent of horror, disorientated by the lack of direction and leadership. Then, on 26th of March 1971, a voice reached them from Kalargat radio station of Chittagong. The then young Major Ziaur Rahman, calmly, but precisely and strikingly, announced to the world the birth of a new country, Bangladesh, and made the long-awaited call to the oppressed people for decisive armed actions, to fight off the Pakistani oppressors.
I, Major Ziaur Rahman,
do hereby declare the independence of Bangladesh.
When Zia went on live radio and declared he was only 34 years old, the entire world was taken to amazement not only by the birth of a new nation, but also by the valiant turnaround of that brutalized nation at the call of a young and dynamic army officer, Major Zia. The organized and decisive action that is required for a true war of independence was triggered by Major Zia's articulate call to take up arms. Zia's revolt against his West Pakistani military bosses at his then station in Chittagong was followed by a series of similar rebellions by the East Pakistani officers across the country. Unlike the then designated political leadership that spent the span of the war safely in another country, Zia chose to lead his units of freedom fighters inside Bangladesh. The valiant freedom fighters under Zia's command made up the prestigious Z Force, which eventually became the most formidable unit in the liberation war. Zia was subsequently decorated with the highest honor for a living Bangladeshi, for his bravery in proclaiming the independence of Bangladesh and leading the nation's victory with exemplary performance on the battlefield.
In contemporary Bangladesh, we talk a lot about bringing forward-looking youthfulness in our politics. And we also talk a lot about coming out of the slippery slope of hatred and vengeance, and create a politics of reconciliation. Indeed, it was Ziaur Rahman who brought all these traits together into the politics of Bangladesh about 4 decades ago, and helped the people of Bangladesh dream big. Zia took over the helms of Bangladesh, first as a major general within the army, and then as the elected president of the country. And that too, as a young man characterized by vision, dedication, determination and passion. By the time Zia died leading Bangladesh through its most formative years, he was only 45 years old. As a president, Zia single-handedly brought the dysfunctional state machineries back on track, re-established democracy incorporating all values, beliefs and ideologies, initiated progressive politics of national unification above partisan confrontation, passed research-oriented, reformative and revolutionary policies in all socio-economic aspects, drew sector-specific short and long-term developmental roadmaps, and integrated the country with the wider world. In accomplishing all these and rebuilding Bangladesh just within 4 years, Zia created the biggest ever national coalition and meaningful reconciliation. Not only did he include leftist, rightist, centrist political elements, he also relied heavily on fresh faces, young and bright professionals with proven track records of service, excellence and intellect, in his nation-building politics and policy-making. Zia's speeches and actions remain the most inclusive and the most successful vision of our nationhood ever articulated by a Bangladeshi leader. His messages are as practical, relevant and advanced today as they were during his time.
ইতিহাস আছে ভিন্ন একটি প্রক্রিয়ার মাধ্যমে গড়ে উঠেছে আমাদের দেশ আমাদের ভৌগোলিক অবস্থান আমাদের ভাষা সাহিত্য সংস্কৃতি আমাদের আচার ব্যবহার চিন্তাধারা এমনকি আমাদের জনগণের অন্তরে সৃষ্ট নবতার চেতনা সবকিছুই স্বতন্ত্র আমরা চাই আমাদের জনগণকে ঐক্যবদ্ধ করে বাংলাদেশের স্বাধীনতা ও সার্বভৌমত্বের চেতনাকে জনগণের মনে সুদৃঢ় ভিত্তিতে প্রতিষ্ঠিত করতে এটাই হলো বাংলাদেশী জাতীয়তাবাদ
During Zia's lifetime, he dedicated himself to the struggle of the Bangladeshi people. He fought against the oppression of the West Pakistan regime, and against the domination of the independent Bangladesh's sectarian politicians. He cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society thriving in an independent and sovereign Bangladesh, wherein all Bangladeshis would live together in harmony and with equal opportunities, and where an elected government would strive for good governance, with a development agenda. It is an ideal which Zia hoped to live for, and if needed to be, it was an ideal for which he was prepared to die. And the preparation for death had to come to effect. Zia had to die and become Shaheed, a martyr, for, and of, Bangladesh. Zia had to become Shaheed because he was loved, and owned by his country and countrymen, for his commitment, character and contribution. Zia had to become Shaheed because he developed Bangladesh overcoming all turmoil, and established democracy eroding a one-party ruling. Zia had to become Shaheed because he did not want to compromise the independence and sovereignty of Bangladesh. Zia had to become Shaheed because he had advanced Bangladesh 40 years in a span of 4 years of his service as the president. Zia had to become Shaheed because domestic and international anti-Bangladesh forces found his existence threatening to their misdemeanors and conspiracies.
Today, we do not have Shaheed Zia with us anymore. But we have got two of his legacies with us. The legacies that bear Shaheed Zia's dreams and visions, and the legacies that bear his emotions and bloods. First, the largest and most popular political party of Bangladesh, the Bangladesh Nationalist Party BNP, led by the three-time Prime Minister Begum Khaleda Zia, which Shaheed Zia established with a view to deriving a government truly of the Bangladeshi people, by the Bangladeshi people, and for the Bangladeshi people. And second, Tariq Rahman, the worthy sons of Shaheed Zia, who following his father's footsteps, on his own merit, has not only become the symbol of Bangladesh's sovereignty, nationalism and patriotism by running from one corner of the country to the other, but also undergoes unprecedented propaganda and conspiracy for his determined strive for democracy, governance and development, and for his effort to make a difference in people's lives. Lessons learned from the glorious past encompassing the life of Shaheed Zia, thereby instigates the inspiration for a bright future of Bangladesh, in the hands of the BNP as the political platform, and Begum Khaleda Zia and Tariq Rahman as the personal prodigy. Let us all work together and add value to the BNP, Begum Khaleda Zia and Tariq Rahman, and pay tribute to the political thought, ideology and legacy of Shaheed President Zia Rahman, one of the greatest men ever produced on the soil of Bangladesh.